Hey everybody, it's Goblin and today is the launch of The Hobbit on Magic Arena. This is the sequel, the follow-up to the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth set. I am very, very excited for this. The original Tales of Middle-earth set was a fantastic one with some really cool, unique mechanics. This is a smaller, more compact version of that, as The Hobbit is a much smaller book with less to draw from. So it is a smaller set with less archetypes. There's just going to be the five main draft archetypes this time around: blue, white, draw two, black, red, amass, black, green, ferocious, red, white, storied, and blue, green, landfall, instead of a full 10 archetype set like we had with the Lord of the Rings set. But it still looks really cool, still a lot of great artwork and flavor and theming, and I'm really excited to see what this draft format is like. So without further ado, let's bust open these packs and see what we get to play with today. All right, for our pack one, pick one in classic modern Magic standards. We have two rares in this pack, and they look very strong. I think I'm going to take Chief Warg's Company here. One, a black and a green for a 5/3 trample, but it can't attack unless you control two or more wolves. Well, lucky for you, at the beginning of your upkeep, you create a 2/2 green wolf creature token every one of your turns. So this is an army in a can. Just keep getting more and more and more wolves, and when you get enough of them, this gets to start attacking. This seems absolutely absurd. Even just getting a 2/2 every turn is already great, and then you have a 5/3 trample on top of that potentially. It also can always block, so if you just need a 5 power defender, you've got that going for you. Chief Warg's Company seems excellent, and it plays into the black-green mechanics in the set. There's a lot of cards in black and green that are going to care about having power 4 or greater. And this is a 5 power creature for only 3 mana to help trigger all of those cards. So very, very nice opening rare for us. And now we're just going to look at the black and the green cards because I have never seen these cards before. It is absolute day one of the set, so that's going to make it easier to draft, just checking out the stuff on color to our excellent rare. Got a 6 mana 4/4 that can also amass a 2/2 goblin. So it's a 2 mana 2/2 on curve and a 6 mana 4/4 later. That's pretty excellent value. Imagine a 2 mana 2/2, but when you play it, you draw a card. That card just being a 6 mana 4/4. Yeah, that's a good card. Bjorn's Hospitality. Whenever land enters, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. And for 7 mana, you make this a bear with power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. That's a pretty excellent card. There's been a very similar version of that back in Kamigawa or something, if I remember right. That was quite a good card. There's a little draw spell. There's a little removal spell. Some kind of beef there. I'm going to go with the Great Ugly Looking Goblin because it has a very funny name and it's nice dual purpose card. 2 mana 2/2 and a finisher at the same time. Pick number 3. I have seen this Troop of Ponies card. This thing looks really cool. It looks like an excellent card to take early in the draft because it's completely colorless. 2 mana for a 2/1, and you can spend 2 mana, tap it, and sacrifice it to put a basic land into play tapped and a basic land into your hand. So it gets you 2 lands, it ramps you way up. This seems like a really wonderful card for pretty much any deck, so I do like that a lot. But there's also this nasty little rabbit. 1 mana 1/2 at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's that Nessie and Hornbeetle type card, if you remember Theros Beyond Death. But it is very good with Chief Warg's Company. It's very good with the Great Ugly Looking Goblin. I guess less good there because you have to wait so long. But nasty little rabbit seems like a really sweet card for a black-green ferocious deck, so I might go for that, but I think Troop of Ponies is probably the safest, fairest pick, but I'm going to be drafting very, very simply today because, again, I have not read these cards, so we're just going to lock in on the black-green and not really worry about grabbing a colorless card there. Elven Passage. Pay life, sack this land, search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. You may behold an elf to untap that land. That's very cool. So it's a Fabled Passage for elf decks. There's a Quarrel. Target creature control deals damage equal to its power to a creature and opponent controls. That seems pretty good for the green-black deck because we're going to have a lot of creatures with high power. So that'll just be a really consistent removal spell. I don't mind that at all. Ooh, Warg Tactics looks like an excellent flexible card. It's your little hexproof combat trick, but also a plummet, a destroy a flyer card at the same time. Then there's that Troop of Ponies again. Lots of good options here. We don't have any removal yet, though, so I'll go ahead and grab a Quarrel out of that pack. Pick number 5 now. We've got the Crude Bent Blade. When it enters, an opponent sacks a creature of their choice. Equip creature +2/+1. Interesting. Seems fine. Reverent Howl, draw 2, lose 2, or give somebody +2/+2 lifelink till end of turn. Wargling, 2 mana 2/2 on curve. It's a 3/2. Oh, all of your creatures get +1. No, this gets +1/+0, but all of your creatures gain trample when you have ferocious. Okay. That's actually kind of cool. It gives everybody trample. What is this? 6 mana 4/4. When it enters, look at the top 4, reveal permanent from them, put it into your hand, the rest on the bottom. Whenever land enters, give it +2/+2. Okay, I like that a lot. I am a sucker for creatures that draw a card when they enter. Those are what we call 2-for-1s because you get your full spell worth of value and you get another card back out of them. So I really, really like abilities like that. That's just like draw a card when it enters. So I like the Wanderers, even if it is 6 mana, which is quite a lot. Mirkwood Nurturer, what is this? 3 mana, 3/2 when it enters, return up to one other target permanent you control to its understand if you do put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So it's a 3 mana 4/3, which triggers all the ferocious stuff if you put a permanent back into your hand. That's pretty cute. Obviously, the idea there is picking up a land and playing it again for landfall. So that's cute. What's the Dwarven Matic? Okay, well, good for a dwarf deck. Mediocre otherwise. Then there's a flyer, a little Death Toucher. Try out the Mirkwood Nurturer, 3 mana 4 power creature. Could use some of those. And there's another nasty little rabbit for us. See if we can't get that card to play pretty consistently. The common dual land here looks really cute too. So it enters tapped always. It's black or green. But then the sacrifice ability is putting counters onto like the specific creature types that are in these colors. A bear, a spider, or wolf. That's very cute. But I'm going to go for the nasty little rabbit instead. Nothing in green or black here, but there is a green-blue archetype, if you remember that. So the best way to speculate here is to speculate towards blue because we're deepest into green out of every color right now. So we could end up having to cut the black and then playing a green-blue landfall elves kind of deck. So just a bunch of flicker effects, okay. This is kind of cute. I don't think, I mean, obviously we're not playing either of them now. We're trying to be green-black, but I don't think either of those is super exciting. The recruit mechanic is really nice. You get to draw a card and discard a card, and if you discard a non-land card, you get a 1/1 soldier at the same time. Being able to counterspell, draw a card, discard a card, and make a 1/1 at the same time is really strong. 3 mana 2/2 vigilance plus a 1/1 plus draw discard is really strong. So I like the recruit cards a lot. I really don't think the 3 mana 2/2 flyer is going to be all that exciting, that little bee there. I will take another Bowside Wanderers. That seems pretty good. Pick 11. There's a little recruiter. It's a big equipment related card. And a little common legend. Cool. 12. There's a common version of Smog. That's pretty crazy. That seems like a very good card. It's pretty slow. It's very inefficient on both halves, but anytime that you get to do 2 impactful things off of 1 spell is just going to be pretty strong. So a 5 mana removal spell and then also a 7 mana dragon. Okay, what do we got here? Pack 2, pick 1. Looking at the black and the green here, kind of ignoring everything else. We got a Golem. 1 and a black. Golem can't block. When Golem enters, exile up to 1 card from opponent's graveyard, and each opponent loses 2 life. You could sack an artifact or creature and spend 2 mana, return it from a graveyard to your hand. Alright, not the greatest, I think, in draft. Very aggressive card, no blocking involved. Mirkwood Pathmaker seems perfectly fine. We do have a pretty high mana curve, multiple 6 mana cards. We could run like an 18 land deck here, even if we keep putting more 6 mana cards into here. So this will be just pretty beefy in the late game for pretty cheap, just 3 mana to get it out there initially. So I do like that. I always love the 2 mana 1/1s that make your opponent discard a card. So Stony Voice Goblins looks really cool, although that card is probably a little bit cooler in the red-black deck than the green-black deck, because red-black has some ways to sacrifice it for value. It's a lot of cool options there. Radagast of Rosgabel. We've got a 4 mana 2/5. The first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast and can be cast as though it had flash. Sure, double mana for my creatures. Don't mind if I do. We'll grab that here, although Bilbo's Deadly Slice is going to be a premium removal spell in this draft format. Pick number 3, Large Bear. 5 mana 5/5, reach, trample, haste. Those are some stats on that card. It is a hybrid mana card as well, a black-green hybrid card, so no matter what lands we've got on board, it'll be really easy to cast. Like that a lot. There's also Wood Elves. That's a fun ramp card. Really cool to see that having been reprinted. That'll be a sweet one in draft. This is an awesome pack, but I'll take the large bear. Here's another Mirkwood Pathmaker that looks fun. There's also another Coral, and I'm not very high on removal, and I am very deep on green in general. We're going to be like super heavy green, literally just like splashing black for the Wargs Company. We could almost be mono green, but not quite, because I'm definitely putting the company in there. So I kind of like getting another removal spell. There's probably not a ton of green removal, and if we take it pretty highly, we might be able to play almost all green spells and have the easiest mana base in the world. I'm actually going to go for the Coral over the Pathmaker here for that reason. That would be a sweet way to start off the draft format. Wilderland Scrounger, 5 mana, 3/6. Whenever it attacks while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, put a +1/+3 counter on each creature you control. Good lord. It's a 5 mana card. A little expensive, a little expensive. Could use some more 2 mana stuff, but there's no 2 mana creatures in here anyway. There's just another 6 mana one. Little Bear untaps a card. If it's a bear, puts a +1/+1 counter on it. That's pretty fun. I'm going to go for this Wilderland Scrounger. What do we got here? A 2 mana 1/2 with Vigilance. Whenever another elf enters, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. You can tap it for X mana of any one color, where X is the creature's power, but you can only spend it on elves. Dang. They had me until that final bit of text there, only spending it on elves. I think I'll finally go ahead and take a ramp card, though. We'll grab the Troop of Ponies here over the Wargling. Use this to grab 2 basics, put one into play, and the other into our hand to play on a future turn. Pick number 7, we got a Wood Elves here. Bjorn's Hospitality is also pretty cool. Turn into a gigantic bear later, but I want to just get some ramp here for sure with our 5s and 6s. Pick number 8, there's that ramp elf again, but I'm not going to run that many elves. I really don't think I'll be playing any of these other cards, though. Maybe another Mirkwood Nurturer. I'm going to guess because I'm mono green, I could take the elf-specific cards, but it's a little late now. We're just not going to be the dedicated green-blue elf deck, at least. Take the on-color card of Stony Voiced Goblins. The Stony Voiced Goblins are really obnoxious with Mirkwood Nurturers. Picking up the goblins to replay them and make our opponent discard another card will be huge. Hobbit Hole is just an evolving wild that can also tutor for a Hobbit at some point. That's cute. I don't think we really need it in this deck. Our mana is going to be pretty good, so we'll grab the Warg Tactics, get a removal spell for some flyers, and a spell that will consistently be able to do something otherwise. That Trample Hexproof trick. Guardian of the Halls here for another 2/2 on curve in our main color. And let's see what the final pack has to offer for us. We only need a few more playables. This looks like a really fun way to start off the Hobbit draft formats. So pack 3, pick 1. What do we got? We've got Down to Goblin Town. 3 mana. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. They discard it. So we've got a Thoughtseize. Then we mass Goblins 1. So we get a 1/1. And then they lose life and you gain life. So 3 mana, 1/1, plus they discard a specific card of your choice from their hand. That's pretty good. The 3rd and 4th chapter don't really do anything, but those first couple are worth it. We can also grab another removal spell here, the Stir Up Trouble. Late game removal, 5 mana, destroy anything. There's also the Duskwatch Hunter, which is reasonable for the green-black decks, reasonable at helping trigger the nasty little rabbits, because this can be a 4-power creature for 3 mana. It can put the counter on itself. So I like that too. I kind of like how Down to Goblin Town plays with the Mirkwood Nurturers. And I'm doing some goofy stuff with that, so I'll grab it there and see if we can get that going. Got the Chief Warg here, 4 mana, 3/3 menace. Whenever you attack while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card and lose a life. That's when you attack with anything. It doesn't have to be the Warg. So if we play a 3 mana, 4 or 5 power creature, and then we follow up with the Warg, then we can immediately draw a card the turn we play it. I think that's really, really powerful and worth taking over the removal here of Deadly Slice or Quarrel, and cross our fingers if we're really lucky. One of those cards could come back. Here's another Stony Voiced Goblins. I think I am really relying on these Nurturers to be 3 mana, 4 power creatures now. So getting more 2 mana cards that are really good to pick up seems nice. So I'm going to grab another Stony Voiced Goblins. There's also Bjorn. And don't think we're taking any of those colorless cards. Get the Stony Voiced Goblins. Night Howl Pursuer, 1 mana, 1/1 menace. Whenever this creature attacks by control a creature with power 4 or greater, gets +2/+2 ton of turn. So it's like a 3/3 menace while you have a power 4 or greater creature. I don't mind that. What else is there? There's a Giant's Boulder, a 7 mana removal spell. Not so sure about that one. Second copy of Warg Tactics is fine. I am still really low on non-creature cards in this deck. We have 3 of them total. So we really need some non-creature spells if we can get them. Like a Reverent Howl, maybe. Yeah, I'll grab a Reverent Howl. Get a little draw spell in here, I suppose. Oh, I guess I already had one that wasn't showing up. Oh, it was in the sideboard, maybe. Pack 3, pick 5. There's another Wood Elves. There's a Little Bear. How many bears do we even have in here? 1. Yeah, Little Bear's not doing much. It's just a 3/2 flash on tap a creature. I'll take another Wood Elves. I don't know if I'm going to run 2 copies, though. Not really a crazy front porch Sentries deck. Got a lot of 2s and 3s now. I can grab just a 4 mana, 4 power Golem. The +1/+1 counter ability can also help us work something up to 4 power. Speaking of working things up to 4 power, we could take a Bjorn's Hospitality this time and try that thing out. Another nasty little rabbit. Okay. We're really going to see how well the rabbit works because we've got 3 copies in this deck. We are going for it. We now have Bjorn and Bjorn's Hospitality. The Great Ugly Looking Goblins are another 2 mana creature. This is 30 cards, my lord. Less excited about the Wargling than most of the other 2 mana cards. Stony Voiced Goblins Mirkwood Nurture might be more cute than anything. But it's really cute. It's absolutely adorable. I think Bjorn's our worst 5-drop. Definitely want at least 17 lands, so I have to cut 1 more card. I guess if I'm entirely just curving out, trying to beat down and trying to play to the board, maybe the Troop of Ponies makes the most sense as a cut here. I mean, what if we've got triple Nasty Little Rabbit? So we really care about getting those 4 power creatures on board. The Nurturers can do that by picking up anything. They don't have to pick up a good value card like the Goblins. It's possible I could cut these Goblins for more aggressive creatures. Well, for 1 more aggressive creature like the Wargling. Completely play to the board. I just don't think that that's a massive difference in power, though, versus the ability being much worse. 1 cut, 1 cut, 1 cut. We've got a lot of +1/+1 counters in here, so I like the Great Ugly Looking Goblin's ability at 6 mana too. And the Bjorn's Hospitality. It's kind of like another 7 mana creature. This is so weird, but I'm going to cut this Troop of Ponies. That's got to be wrong. I mean, it's just got to be wrong. I guess I could cut this Guardian of the Halls thing. Call it a deck here. Yeah, looks pretty sweet to me. Again, I don't really have any experience with these cards, but this looks pretty awesome. Very into it. We don't have anything in the deck that needs double black, so I'm going to go down to 7 swamps, 10 forests, call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and we will see how far we can make it on our very first Premier draft of The Hobbit. I am so excited for this set. It is a shame that there was no early access event this time around, so we didn't get to really play any of it until today. Didn't get to get you any super early videos, but there's some positives to that too. That means that everybody is going in with just as much experience, except those of you who have played in the pre-release. I unfortunately did not. Did not have time this time around. Ooh. Oh, this is a really nice board. I like it. Like the watery docks. This is like maybe where they were escaping in the barrels or something like that. It's been a while since I read The Hobbit, but I did read that book, so I'm gonna understand more of these references than I did in The Lord of the Rings. I have not seen any of the Hobbit movies, but I read the book. Stony Voiced Goblins. I'm going to make them discard a Plains here. The blue-white deck is about drawing an extra card every turn. A bunch of cards that trigger on the second card they've drawn. This looks really strong. Most Decrepit Old Bird. 2 mana, Speak Secrets, mill 4, put an instant or source from them into your hand, and it's a 1 mana, 1/1 flyer. It gets +1/+1 as long as there's 7 more cards in your graveyard. So it's a 2/2 flyer for 1 mana, as well as a little draw spell. Luckily, the draw spell failed, so it is just a 2/2 flyer, but that's still pretty good. Unfortunately, the Pathmaker is not quite 4 power yet, so we don't get a counter onto our nasty little rabbit until next turn. If they don't blow up the Pathmaker, we'll play the Chief Warg so we can start drawing cards, and if they do, then we'll run out the Radagast. Alright, they could have some kind of counterspell, but I don't know what kind of interaction is in this set yet. I guess there's the uncommon 2 blue and 1 mana to counter a spell, and if it costs 2 or less, they get to draw a card, discard a card. Magnificent End is the play to deal 5 to a tapped creature, get rid of our 4/4 and stop those abilities from happening. At least we've drawn 1 card and gotten 1 +1/+1 counter. They now have a Lakeshore Apothecary. 1/2 Vigilance when they draw their second card each turn. They put a +1/+1 counter onto that. Alright, we can go ahead and play a Radagast and flash in a Stony Voiced Goblins next turn. Could double block the Chief Warg, and that's not good. They could double block the nasty little rabbit, and that's not good, so that'll be a pass. They go to the end step. We flash in Stony Voiced Goblins. Looks like they're stuck on mana here. Wilderland Scrounger. That is not power 4 greater. So let's play the Wanderers. Fine, Mirkwood Nurturer. Seems like a good one. Being able to flash in the Mirkwood Nurturer is also kind of crazy. Yeah, 4 toughness means we can attack in with this without fear of it dying. I could attack with Radagast as well. That would open it up for the tapped creature style removal spells, though. Or attacking creature style removal spells. But yeah, Mirkwood Nurturer with Radagast is really strong, because now at instant speed I can pick up one of these cards, put it back to my hand. Just in case they have any sorcery speed removal, they're going to try to blow up a creature. I'm like, nope, put it back in my hand. This Radagast is already being super, super sweet. I could pick up the Wanderers to draw another card instead of making them discard another card. That is an option. Made them discard their last card in hand, and let's just get in there. We're kind of jamming now. Draw a card again, find a Warg Tactics. If we held the mana up for whatever we drew instead of immediately playing the Goblins, we could have Tactics there. I did want to play the Scrounger as my first creature for the turn, though, so I could get the maximum Radagast discount at least. They're at 8 life here. I mean... put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control? I think we're just going wide. This is probably lethal with Warg Tactics, because this is going to be insane. Oh, especially with a Quarrel. Yeah, there's the concession from our opponent. That was a really spicy first game of Magic. I mean, they were quite stuck on their mana there, but we got to really pop off with some chunky creatures, and we start things off 1-0, heading into game 2. All right, here we are on the play for game number 2, where I should probably mulligan considering we're on the play, because this hand does not have anything to do for 2 mana, and we only have 2 lands in it. We have to draw a land to start casting spells. If we do draw that land, we have some very good spells, which is why I'm keeping it. But The safe play here would be to mulligan because there's nothing castable in the opening hand. But our first draw was a land, and the reason that it would be a little bit safer were we on the draw is that, of course, we have one more draw step to do that. Oh my god, just draw Chief Warg's Company now? I'm still going to lead with down to Goblin Town so that we can look for any removal spells in our opponent's hand and rip them away before we play our bomb. They do not have any removal spells, but what they do have is a lot of creatures, which is pretty concerning, yeah. What is the scariest here? Probably the flyers, actually. We don't have reach until Large Bear. We've got plenty of stuff, especially with all the 2/2s coming out to just trade on the ground. So let's get rid of one of the flyers. Okay. Mass Goblins 1. Play Mirkwood Nurturer here and pick up the down to Goblin Town? Or do we just play the Chief Warg's Company? I mean, we know they don't have removal in hand. Let's just play the company. Some of their creatures die, they scry 1. Front porch sentries, Goblin Town flunkies. Lots of gobos. The company can block, by the way, even when you don't have 2 or more wolves, so it's holding off the 1/1s and 2/2s there, which is so nice. Nasty Little Rabbit's pretty sweet. Got kind of an awkward amount of mana here, and if I don't nurture back a down to Goblin Town now, it is going to go away. So I'll go ahead and do that. I mean, alternatively, I could pick up a forest and play the rabbit, which is also quite a strong play. So it's really just like, how greedy do I want to get? Do I really want to rip more cards out of the hand, or do I just want to push damage ASAP? I already have a lot more cards available to me than my opponent. I don't think I need to push the card advantage farther. Let's start getting a better board presence and trying to become the aggressor here and actually start attacking in instead of just taking these hits. Their golem's putting a counter on their flyer, which is kind of bad. We gotta get to this large bear ASAP. So Wilderland Scrounger. This is not ideal. Can't attack with anything with less than 3 power now that they have Golem down. So just the Nurturer. I mean, I guess the Rabbit will be a 3/4 as well, but yeah. I think I just want to keep being mana efficient, play another Nurturer here, so that I can Golem one of the wolves into mattering. Also helps with the race because we gain a bit of life. They could double block this 3/3 wolf with 2 2/2s, and then if I kill the sentries, they get to kill our 1/1 a goblin army as well. So that'd be pretty good. It's a pretty good block for them as well, because it'll force us to kill the sentries if they really want that to die. Ooh, and then they could use its ability to trade up into the bigger creature here, clearing out the Nurturer instead of the 1/1. Still a pretty big fan of our position, though. Our board is just so huge. Iron Hills Stalwart. 4/5 reach trample attaches an equipment they control to another creature they control. To any creature they control, it can target itself if they want. We're down to 13, but our board is big and spicy. I can't really attack through this 4/5 though. Not till next turn, that rabbit gets a little bigger. We are just taking 3 a turn in the sky, and our board just keeps getting better and better and better. I still feel favored, but it could go either way. Certainly under life total pressure. Well, there we go. We've got a large bear available now for a reach blocker. Do we just play that on blocks? If I attack with Golem, they block with a 4/5 and a 1/1. That's pretty abysmal. I could attack with the nasty little rabbit just to kill the stalwart, but then it stops getting bigger. But even if I wait for it to get like way bigger, if it's a 7 power creature, they still block with these 2 and kill it and only lose 1 creature. So I think trading the rabbit into the stalwart is just good here. Oh, they're just going to take it. All right. Large bear. A bear that is so big it can stop flyers. I gotta say, I like the bear theme in the set. Like that there's a bunch of bears. It's probably gonna get shot by some kind of removal spell post-combat. Nope. They are just brand new to the set and did not realize that my bear can jump into the sky. Thank you, bear. Very cool. I mean, they block 3 creatures. If they block these 3, they take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There could be some kind of blowout here, but I'm just going to go for this. And this just seems massive. That looks like lethal to me. Yep. They go down to -3, and we are 2-0 heading into Game 3. All right, here we are on the play for Game 3. We got a turn 1 nasty little rabbit. It's not going to get any bigger for quite some time, but it sure is nasty. Let's get it out there and see what's going on. Our opponent's got a plains. Oh, I forgot to get the new lands. These are not Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit. I don't know what I thought I saw. But yeah, I gotta check out the Hobbit lands. Maybe use those during this draft format in this draft season. Bilbo Baggins seems like a really sweet common. You can scry 2 early in the game if you don't have anything else to do with your mana. That's going to be a pretty easy thing to do on turn 1 most of the time. And then a 3-mana 2/1 draw a card. It's just a good deal. Those are always really nice. All right, we drew down to Goblin Town and Mirkwood Nurturer, which means we can do that double up and rip out 2 cards from our opponent's hand. They're going to play their 3rd land next turn and play one of their 3 drops. Bard, whenever they draw their 2nd card, is going to get buffing up, getting lifelink. I don't really need to worry about the 6 drops. So which 3 drop am I the most scared of? Probably Bard. And I guess Bard doesn't do anything without other draw 2 cards. I suppose Patient Instructor actually has the most immediate impact on the game. Bard hits the board. Amass a 1/1, and let's play Radagast here. I could Mirkwood Nurture back the Goblin Town right now, get a counter on the rabbit, but Radagast is going to lead to some explosive stuff. So Bard's going to get them 1/1/1 counter that we know of, because they're going to get to use Bilbo. I think we're going to down the 6 drop next, though, and make sure that doesn't do anything. Yep, they're going to go ahead and get their +1/+1 counter. Pass through. Okay. We don't need to get rid of the Mariners until they have 6 mana. But they could flicker Bilbo off of its 4 mana ability. That would just be a draw 1, probably not quite worth it for them yet. So let's not. I can Large Bear now and then flash in the Nurturer during their turn. I could also play the Wanderers now and still have Nurturer mana next turn if I want to draw a card instead of hitting them immediately. It's more mana efficient, still buffs the rabbit. I really like pushing damage here, though. I'm going to play the Large Bear. Boom, down to 12. They're just going to hold up the Mariners here. The double flicker. That is a shame. Because if they do that, then it means if I cast this, they can respond by flickering so that we can't get rid of the card. But they do have to flicker right now instead of like declaring blocks and then flickering. And then if they do that, I still get to rip a different card out of their hand, so it's really not that bad. Yeah, we forced them into flickering pre-blocks. And then I still get rid of a card. Get rid of the Recruiter when they have Bard on the board. How do they kill Nasty Little Rabbit? A 2/2 and a 2/1. Or a 1/3 in one of those. Nope, a 1/3 in one of those is only 3. Yeah, they'd have to lose the 2/2 and the 2/1. Yeah, Rabbit can get in. We are... 5, and they could triple block Radagast and take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they can't triple block Radagast. So Radagast can come in too. They could block the 1/1 with a 1/3. 4/3 with a 2/1, 3/4 there. Take like, yeah, they can kill the 1/1 while blocking other stuff. Down to 2 life. Let's see how they get out of this one, shall we? They do Recruit, which counts as their second card drawn that turn, so they get a +1/+1 counter back. That's kind of cool that you can trigger the draw 2 cards during your opponent's turn too, as long as you find a way to draw 2 cards. Alright, they destroy the Large Bear. They have 4 mana left. And they scoop them up. It is not going to be enough, and we are 3-0 in our first draft of the Hobbit, undefeated as we head into game number 4. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 4. We are undefeated so far. This time we have a 2-lander on the play, which can be a little risky, especially considering there's a 6 mana card in this hand. If we don't draw many lands, we could have some issues, but we do have a 1 mana and 2 mana play, as well as a 2 mana removal spell for whatever we draw, and our first draw of the game is our 3rd land, so we are halfway towards the Chief Warg now. We just need 1 more land draw. We got the first one. See if we can't draw another land on time. We've got 2 draw steps to do it. First draw is not a land, but it is a 3 mana play, which is arguably even better. That means we'll get something to do this turn. On curve. We are going to be trading 2/2 for 2/2 with our opponent here. The exact same 2/2, by the way. The great ugly looking goblins' little children. Just got into a little bit too big of a fight, unfortunately. Those kids were absolutely gnarly. Gnashing of Teeth, what is this? 3 mana removal spell. Target creature gets -5/-5 till end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Okay, that's pretty good. It is a sorcery. Yeah, so I guess it's just solid. Solid removal, especially for draft. We didn't draw land, but we drew a 4-mana creature now, which means our nasty little rabbit is going to start actually getting somewhat nasty. It is a 2/3 now for only 1 mana. So already a great deal. If the Nurturer sticks around, it will be incredible, especially if we do draw that 4th land. We did miss it on turn 4, but playing the Chief Warg on turn 5 would still be a pretty good turn, and Mirkwood Nurturer was probably one of the best non-land draws we could have hit last turn, considering it gets our nasty little rabbit going in a not weird way. It probably wasn't weird until I said it was weird. Disregard everything I've said in the past 10 seconds. What is this Tidings of War? 1 mana. Amass Goblins 1, flash it back for 4, Amass Goblins 3. Cute. So it's 5 mana total for 4 total stats, but I guess the idea is it's like your 1 mana 1/1 that you can sacrifice for value, and then also 4 mana 3/3 later. When you look at it that way, it's pretty decent. But you do want to have some other synergies, some cards to work with it to get your value out of it. What's the Goblin Town do? Puts counters on goblins or orcs? Yeah, I like these duels. Those are pretty fun. The creature type specific dual lands. Beautiful draw this turn. We get to run out the Chief Warg. We get to draw a card when we attack. The nasty little rabbit is too big for them to kill, but they could double block the Nurturer, which is still not even that great for them. But it does technically get rid of our 4-power creature. But it leaves us with the creatures with better abilities for the future. Awkwardly for us, though, we don't have a 4-power creature that we can play next turn to trigger the rabbit and the chief, but there's some cards that we can draw in this deck that can put +1/+1 counters onto the board. There's also some 4-power creatures we can draw. One of those cards is both. The Golem is a +1/+1 counter and a 4-power creature all in one. I'm going to play the nasty little rabbit pre-combat just in case I'm missing something and somehow it's about to get a counter. It is not. But you know, sometimes head empty. Our opponent has hit their 5th land. Now they've also been missing a couple land draws here or there. Rage into the Valley seems pretty nice. That's cool. Get a 2/2 goblin and draw a card, lose a life. I might quarrel in response to this so that they just have a 2/2 instead of a 4/4. I think I will. Them having a 4/4 blocker would be rough for our 3/4. Plus, if we hit the 6th mana, we've got 2 different 4-power creatures we can play here. That would get our other nasty little rabbit attacking. In fact, if we hit the mana, playing the great ugly looking goblin, to give menace to everybody because they have +1/+1 counters would kind of win the game. Unfortunately, we didn't hit that mana. They've got 3 power. They can double block Chief Warg and take 4, go to 2. If I attack with everybody, if I attack with only the nasty little rabbit, we're going to kill the stony voiced goblins probably. Would have been an incredible turn to hit a land, and I'm not sure what we do without that land. It might be attack all, and then they just kill Chief Warg. They could also, if we attack all, they could keep their 2/2 to kill this one and then just trump there. I think I'm gonna attack all because if I hit a land for the great ugly looking goblin, we are menacing up the board in a very threatening way. Okay, they are gonna go to 3. Let us keep the big ones. Again, the great ugly looking goblin only gives menace to the cards with +1/+1 counters on them, but because it is a power 4 greater creature, it would make sure that even the small rabbit gets a +1/+1 counter on it. The small rabbit is dead now, though. Sacrifices were made. Made them discard the Sackville Bagginses. What's that? A 2-mana 2/2. When they enter, you can sack a creature or artifact. If you do, draw a card and create a treasure. Whenever you sack a token, target opponent loses 1 life. Pretty cool. And our opponent is pretty over it. This deck has been exceptional thus far, and we are 4-0 heading into game number 5. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 5. We've got a gnarly hand here. One could even say a nasty little hand. We've got our rabbit turn 1. We got Chief Warg's Company turn 3. And that's going to start buffing that rabbit up really quickly. We don't have anything to do on turn 2, which is awkward. Our opponent is on green-blue elves, and the Woodland Weave Master can give them a lot of mana if they sequence things right. So there's Wood Elves, which is going to buff the Weave Master so they can play a 2-mana elf in the same turn. They can hit us for 2 and play a 2-mana elf. Yeah. This Weave Master does seem very threatening for a green-blue deck. And they even have an extra land off the Wood Elves that they can then use for this Pathmaker. Wow, okay, so the elf decks can have some crazy explosive starts. That's pretty standard for elf decks overall, though. I'm going to take a hit for doing this, but I am going to play down to Goblin Town before I play Chief Warg's Company to try to clear the path and make sure that there's no removal coming. We got rid of the only elf in their hand, so now we're just going to take 4. Or 5, actually, because they could play a land here. They are going to scry with Bilbo. Did they top deck the island? They did top deck the island, okay. I was going to say, that's the only way that really makes sense. It's probably better to just straight up get him out than do the scry. You're going to flash in an elf here. That would be brutal. Nope, we're just going to bounce off. All right. A Mass Goblins won, and now we set up our blocks. The awkward part of this is that Pathmaker is going to be out of reach of our Quarrel. But we could at worst chump block it with the Company every single turn. Elven Raft Steer. So every time they play land, they can tap one of our creatures. Tap the 1/1, sure. Another Weave Master, sure. I'll take a hit here. Take 9, and then they're playing off the top. We're at 4 life. I'll have 5 blockers up. I have a Quarrel up. I guess I won't have a Quarrel up because I'm going to tap out for another creature, which means that I'll have 6 blockers. Go to 4. Warg Tactics. Yeah, we're going to play the Radagast. Boom, boom, pass. Okay. Should be able to do some really great things now. We're just slowly but surely getting the better board state. We've got 4 more cards in our hand than our opponent too. Feels like a pretty winning position, but it will take time to get there. Down in the valley. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put into your land, then shuffle. Then when they landfall, they make elves, and then all their elves get +1/+0 vigilance for a few turns. That's very threatening, but I can't do anything about it. It is an enchantment. Tap one of my rabbits. Pass the turn. Let's play the Wanderers. Find a great, ugly-looking goblin. There's a Mirkwood Pathmaker of our own. Gotta find a way through their Pathmaker. I guess the idea to do that is just going to be eventually The nasty little rabbits will be big enough. Because they get bigger every single turn, but any turn that our opponent doesn't draw a land, their Pathmaker doesn't get bigger. We could also just... Oh, no. Well, they're going to draw land every turn, because that's going to pick up a couple. Oh, that's also a Lord. All of their elves get... This is awesome. That is an awesome signpost uncommon. So you pick up some lands with it, and then when you play it, all of your elves get +1/+1, and you get an elf every time you play a land. That's super powerful. And I believe the way that priority works in Magic is I can't respond to this before they just play a land. I'm on full control mode. Okay, thanks to the Weave Master having a trigger when that enters, I do get to kill it before they... before they get a 1/1. So that's really nice. Generally speaking, I don't think I would have had priority there if they didn't have a landfall trigger. Another Bowside Wanderers is pretty cool. We can flash in a Chief Warg and play a Warg Tactics, or we could just play one Wanderers. We're just vibing over here so much. Like, we're still not attacking through an 8/8, but our position is so chill. Even giving the whole board Vigilance, they don't have attacks now because Chief Warg's company has just put in so many wolves here. Dude, this guy, the joke I wanted to make is not appropriate. I'm getting a little funky with it in the Hobbit day 1 early access. We'll just say that Chief Warg's company gets around. How bad is this for me? I'm not dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of which is Summoning Sick. Yeah, we're chilling. We're chilling. That's not even counting playing a Warg and a Tactics, or playing a Wanderers, or playing a great ugly looking Goblin. Why are we just hating on this poor man? I love some of the goofy names in this set. I know they are like very flavorful to the book and everything, but like the ugly looking Goblin, man, you hate to see that. He was probably so excited to be a Magic card, and then he saw his name. Ruin his day. That is somewhat large. How do I lose this game? If they randomly have a trample trick, I guess I die. So maybe I'm supposed to block with more than just a 2/2 chumper. Okay, they don't even declare the attack anyway, so I don't have to worry about it. Let's play a Wanderers and draw another card. They've only got 2 cards in their hand, but any card in their hand matters. Or every card in their hand matters. Ooh, I forgot about my landfall triggers. Nice. Not that nice. I guess they've only got 1 creature big enough to kill something, and then everybody else is actually jamming. That's interesting. Let's play Chief Warg, and then we can play a 1-mana creature and a Tactics next turn. I still don't feel like chump attacking with one of my gigantic creatures. But I feel like I'm just waiting for, like, a size that's not going to happen. I'm waiting for somebody to be bigger than the Pathmaker, and it is just not going to occur. But it's like, as soon as it does, I'm good. Or I'm waiting for my number of creatures to be big enough that I can get 9 through, 9 2/2s in. But that also feels like it's not going to happen for quite some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 4 more. I only need 9 more, so I just need 5 more creatures. I guess I play the Pathmaker over the Stony Goblins here, because that one is big enough to add to the number of 2 power or greater creatures that I need, which I need 9. I need 9 more than my opponent, specifically. Should play the ugly looking goblin now, and then we have the choice between these two next turn. Oh, I've already cast my Coral, so it doesn't even matter if these are big enough to kill Pathmaker in that way. Especially now that they have Menace, they have to double block anyway, but it still would be nicer to wait till they have one more counter on them so that they trade into Pathmaker. Because since they have Menace and they have to double block, they can block with like Pathmaker and another big creature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 6 more creatures than my opponents. Stony Voice Man. 7 more creatures than my opponent, and even that one can be 2 power because I can Warg Tactics it. 8 more creatures than my opponents. I should have held on to that land. Alright, I should be able to send in some nasty little rabbits, hopefully draw a creature off of the Chief Warg, lose one of these, and then next turn my board is enough bigger than my opponent's that they're dead. Okay, put one of them back. I could hexproof that, but I don't need to. Probably playing it like way extra safe with Warg Tactics, but we are like so vibing right now. I think that's okay. We will still have lethal next turn, I'm pretty sure, through Golem. I mean, here's another opportunity to blow a Warg Tactics to keep a rabbit. I guess I'll do it this time. Arena's just giving me a second chance. The common lands are sorcery, right? Those things would be insane if they're instants. Let me scroll down. I don't want to highlight their land and reveal it to them. But they do have the land that can put counters on an elf. Yeah, they're sorcery, so we're chilling. So you can't get got by those at instant speed. We just want to make sure all our creatures are 2 power, so that we just need 9 in. 9 times 2 is 18. Okay, they should be dead next turn. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blockers. That's the 7 wolves that are attacking, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 creatures hit them for 22 damage. Play the rabbit pre-combat so that it gets counters. If there is a fog in this set that prevents all combat damage for the turn, we could get absolutely blown out. But here we go. You live and you learn. Let's see what they've got. 2 removal spells is still not enough to survive. There's 1. I will see you all in a sec when they figure out all these blocks. Edit that out. Math is for blockers. I don't know what's happening here, but I think they're dead. They are dead, and we are 5-0, undefeated all the way into the money this draft. All right, here we are on the play for game number 6. This is technically like a decently quick curve, but it's one of the slower hands that we've had in terms of the power and toughness we're putting on the board. It is our first hand in maybe the whole draft that does not have our sneaky little rabbit, which is interesting. He's just got some little creatures here, but Bjorn's Hospitality is going to help that out a lot because we've got plenty of lands to play to make these actual threats. The Stony Voiced Goblin's already a 2-2, and they'll be attacking as a 3-3 Next turn, we've made them discard a Desolation Prowler. 2 mana, 2/2 that can pay 2 life to get +2/+2 till end of turn. Very, very cool. Putrid Leech got a reprint, I see. And then they have a rare, Dane Ironfoot, 3 mana, 2/4. When it enters, create a colorless equipment named Axe. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Equip it, attach it to Dane. Whenever Dane attacks, each equipped attacking creature gains double strike till end of turn. So Dane is a 2/4 double strike right now. That's pretty horrifying. But not actually big enough to attack through Radagast yet, already. And if they block here, we can Warg Tactics, but obviously the plan here is to just play Radagast. Okay, if I get to use this as a removal spell, I will. If we had another creature in hand to reduce the cost of with Radagast, I would have been a little bit more hesitant to make that play. But because I would just be playing Radagast with just lands in hand anyway, not too concerned about playing Radagast too early here. Gundabad Opportunist. Exile the top card of the library, they can play it until their next turn, but it is a double black card. They have drawn very poor mana. We've got kind of the opposite thing going on here. We have excellent mana, but we need spells. We have 7 lands already, which technically is not the end of the world. Once we play all these lands, we get to turn Hospitality into a gigantic bear, which is very, very cool. It's the Fearsome Goblin pair. When that 1/1 dies, they amass a 4/4. I guess it's just going to make their Goblin army a 5/5 if they don't lose that army. If we make the Stony Voice Goblin 6 power, it is still not big enough to attack through this. We would kill everything and then they get a 4/4 back, which is fine. Let's play the Wanderers and see what it draws before we decide what to do. Maybe we'll get a Nasty Little Rabbit. We did not get a Nasty Little Rabbit. We did get Chief Warg's Thingy-mabob, which is lovely. Flash that in later. I mean, wipe the board, but they get a 4/4 back. Not the most exciting thing ever, but it's really not that bad. Okay, they're just going to get their amass and keep the board. Mirkwood was their land for turn. Oh boy, they're playing green as well. So they're stuck off of black and green mana here. Green probably the splash, because we've seen multiple black spells and nothing in green yet. Bold play. They're going to just make a gigantic army and try to race with that. We'll go to 12, but then they're dead if we draw removal, I think. I guess we don't have enough wolves for Chief Warg's company, so maybe not. Maybe not. So what do they do here? Goblin Opportunist is going to block Bjorn's Hospitality. They're going to take 6, 12, 15. Nope, they're dead. They are still dead. They are exact Seas lethaled for that attack last turn, and that is 6-0 now? We made it all the way to the final boss without dropping a single game. Let's see if we can't start off the Hobbit draft season with an absolute bang today. All right, here we are with a mono green opener on the draw for maybe our final game of Magic. It is our final boss, but we've got 3 rounds at it, 3 shots. This is an awkward hand. It starts with the rabbit on turn 1 and it waits till turn 5 to do anything else if we don't draw something to fill in the gap. But we have plenty of solid green spells that we could draw, and if we hit black sources, like we just did, Golem gives us something to do 2 turns in between our other spells. We get a +1/+1 counter, and we get a 4-power creature on turn 4. So now all we need is something to do next turn. If we draw any of our 1, 2, or 3 mana spells, then we've got a perfect curve. We've got something to do next turn, and turn 4, and turn 5, and turn 6. Really scary start from our opponent already. And we missed, unfortunately. I think considering how aggressive and scary this start is, I offer the Nasty Little Rabbit trade Into the Menacer, a 3/2 Menace. 4 mana to re-equip that. Yeah, could come back to bite me, but I think we offer that trade. And they do not accept that trade. Unfortunately. They're on Boros, they're on red-white, which is an equipment deck in this set. A lot of dwarfs and a lot of cards that care about equipment. Those theme together very well. Iron Hills Blacksmith is really scary. Double Striker to throw all their equipment onto. We've drawn exclusively lands now, but the Golem will buff the Rabbit, and we are definitely up on blocks here. Just trying to survive until we play bigger stuff than they have. Okay. Pretty suspicious. They have to cast an additional spell here. Nothing on board does like kills here. I'm going to block with Golem. Large Bear will also buff the Rabbit, so we don't need to keep Golem around. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, just basically spent that as a removal spell. I like Chief Warg's Company a lot. It is a 5/3 blocker immediately. It's less mana efficient than just playing Large Bear. But if they don't have removal, I think I'm still just going to play Large Bear here. That's big enough to draw the removal if they have it. Make it less likely the company dies. And give me more immediate blockers. I gotta say, I'm absolutely loving green in this set, and the beef is just so beefy. These nasty little rabbits have been massive, massive overperformers. Owen the Brave? Or Oin? As long as you have an Enduring Story, Owen gets +1/+0 and haste. You can discard a card, draw a card. Cool. So they're officially storied, which is another one of the red-white mechanics. They want to have 3 legends on board. Legends, artifacts, or sagas, and then they just have that ready for the rest of the game. Let's go. We drew a 3-mana creature, so I could just play Company and Pathmaker here. And just be really turtled up. If they want to kill the bear, they have to double block, and I kill 2 of their cards. So bear's coming in when we've got these other blockers now. Boom, down to 11. Dane's Company is the rare here. 2 mana 2/2 with lifelink as long as they control a dwarf. When it enters, look at the top 4, reveal a dwarf or equipment, put it into your hand. But they missed. They did not draw a card, so unlucky for our opponent. There's a land for Pathmaker. Here's another nasty little rabbit to buff up. And we are just kind of crushing right now, I think. Now that we've got the beef out. Let's just make use of it. Boom, boom. Now that they've got the Oin, like, they do have 2/3 toughness creatures untapped now, so they could double block Large Bear somewhat profitably. Maybe I should have only sent the Pathmaker in because of that. Could definitely see that argument. Okay, nice. Removal spell on the Pathmaker, basically. But they still take the bear damage and go to 6. Here's the Wanderers. And that's the concession from our opponent. Green is beefy in this set, and I'm absolutely loving it. A lot of those wins were off of the back of our great rares as well. Radagast was even better than I expected, even though our curve isn't super high. That doesn't really matter. There were a lot of turns where we got excellent use out of Radagast, just by being able to play like our 3-mana creatures for like 1 mana at instant speed and really spit them out quickly. So Radagast was really, really excellent. And then, of course, I wouldn't say that Chief Warg's Company overperformed because I already knew it was going to be fantastic just reading the card, but that card was absolutely absurd as well. So we were carried by some very, very good rares, but also just some beef at the lower rarities too. These nasty little rabbits were absolutely nasty. We had the large bear as well, just great stat line for the cost. The nurturers did play how I hoped they would, where they were going to play really consistently with those rabbits. And we had some cute little combos we could have tried to do with the down to Goblin Town, the Stony Voice Goblins that we did once or twice. That was pretty cute. More than anything, I think the stuff that was really working in this deck and really winning was just beating down with rabbits into 4 power creatures early. This was an awesome deck, an excellent way to start off the Hobbit draft format, and I am very excited to play some more. But for now, let's grab our maximum prize out of 2,200 gems and 6 packs of the Hobbit, and that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send us more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.